like I said, the first of the bungalows to be completed, and it was before he had his vast collection of antique ceilings. So in here we have ceilings that are made of cast plaster, but designed by Julia Morgan. She had travelled around Europe to get ideas of that Renaissance style, and she came home with all kinds of wonderful ideas. So the ceilings themselves, though, were created by the Vanderloo family in San Francisco, and what they did is that they sort of built panels, which they then brought over here and then installed it. But you can see little cupids. It's sort of a theme throughout this particular bungalow. You may have even noticed little cupids on the exterior of the building, underneath the eaves and on the windowsills. But anyway, but it allowed him to showcase some of his collection here, which of course had been waiting for quite a while before they were integrated into the Hilltop. Some pieces waited maybe 9 years before they were finally integrated into the Hilltop. But here we have a 17th century tapestry from Spain, and it depicts somebody of a position of a cardinal, as you can see by the number of tassels that you see on both sides of the shield design. And also the bed looks very similar in design, but it's actually from Italy. It's 100 years older. Not as many tassels, but obviously somebody that belonged to the church. Anyway, I would like to mention that if you see anything that is of interest to you, arouses your curiosity, just interrupt me at any time, okay? Now, do you know who David Niven was? I saw you pointing at the bed. Well, he liked this room for one reason only, and that was that this bed, as you can see, has a skirt surrounding it, and that's because he could bring the little bottles of alcohol up here and hide them underneath the bed. But you see that it was a housekeeper's duty to confiscate any alcohol that the young people, would bring up. The young people that were in the movie industry that were friends of Marion's. It seemed that Marion had a drinking problem, and there was a way of curtailing it, but not always successfully, though. Anyway, so let's proceed into the next room.
The woodwork is just unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail in these bungalows. I think more so than in the main house. But anyway, as you can see, that Renaissance feel sort of, I guess, happens in here as well. And if you look at the ceiling, whilst Renaissance in style, but it actually depicts the San Simeon area. And you can see the word San Simeon on some of the medallions. You can see that marine theme throughout. Mr. Hurst's initials in the middle there. Now, also in here, of course, we see a continuation of the cupids. In here, we have a 16th century Italian doorway that was part of his collection, and in order to keep that symmetry, they then duplicated that, put it on this side, and it continued to be the theme throughout. So you can see these cupids around all that ornamentation that you see around the windows. Part of his collection in here includes 16th century Italian writing cabinets with secret drawers and compartments. Above them, 17th century Spanish reliquary busts. And these were often seen in churches because beyond that window, as you can see, they would usually have something on display that belonged to one saint or another. And that one actually has a part of a jawbone on display, but I don't know who it belongs to. But anyway, paintings in here done in 1845. We have no idea who the artist was. We don't know who the couple were at the time. These portraits were actually put in place by family members after Mr. Hearst passed away. I guess they found them lying around somewhere, decided, well, we do have some wall space, let's just hang them up. And also, I'd like to mention that all three bungalows had a name dedicated to each one, and it was usually derived from the view that the sitting room window framed. Here, you see, we can see part of the mountains. You should have been here earlier when we couldn't see anything. And I said, and I was talking about that, and I said, see, you know, you can see the mountains from here. And they looked at me, you know, we had dense fog in the area. But anyway, so they then named this bungalow Casa del Monte, because that looks the mountains. Anyway, any questions?